Ladies and gentlemen, it is fantastic to have you back here. I did not do my intro properly. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is fantastic to have you here because on today's episode, we are indeed working on a KRIS dagger. We have an issue though. The dagger is warped to hell and back, and we need to work hard to make sure that we can straighten it. Thankfully, today we have a new sponsor, which is GlassesUSA.com. Thank you, GlassesUSA.com, for sponsoring this video. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They are revolutionizing how it is that you purchase glasses, meaning that you can spend more time in the comforts of your own workshop and less time going to the glasses store and having to spend forever picking out glasses and then pay ridiculous prices on glasses. Instead, if you go to GlassesUSA.com, they have over 4,000 frames, and the unbelievable thing is, by cutting out the middleman, they're able to stock complete glasses with lenses for under $50 a pair. And that is before the incredible discounts that you're gonna get when you use my link in the description. Thank you, GlassesUSA.com, for helping us see today in the workshop. Thank you guys for being here. Let's get on to straightening this KRIS. Not this way. This way is meant to be curvy. I mean this way. Oh my goodness. At last, I have something that I can work with. And this is the result of basically hammering on the thing until it's pretty straight and centered. So now what I can do is we can take this into the grinding room and we can do a little bit of light grinding on the sides here to make sure it's flat, and we can rough grind the bevels with the bevels rough grounded. Rough grounded? Rough ground. We are going to drill a hole here for our keyhole. And I dare say I think we're going to be ready for the heat treat. Okay, so we have spent a lot of time flattening this, and it is horribly difficult, and I've been working to a center line as we go to try and get as close to straight, in line with all our reference surfaces as possible. Yes, we might end up with a warp after heat treat, but we might as well just start straight. Now, it's going to be time to grind the bevels. Not doing a full grind of the bevel. The only thing that we're trying to do, as Liam Hoffman very well explained in his incredible, his YouTube videos are seriously educational. Mine are just making mistakes the whole way through. He knows what he's talking about. And in one of the videos in the series where he finished off the Kopesh that I forged, he explained why it is a good idea to rough grind in the bevels before you do the heat treat, even if you're planning to do a pretty good amount of stock removal afterwards. And it's because your heat treat your hardness doesn't necessarily penetrate to the full depth of the material depending on the steels that it is that you use. And so, in order to make sure that where your edge is gonna be is hard, he rough grinds in the bevels. Now, we want to rough grind in the bevels anyway so that we can avoid the amount of stock removal we need to do after the heat treat, but this is just another good reason to get those bevels roughed in there now. But there is one thing that we need to do first, little interlude back to yesterday. We need to make ourselves a 1-inch platen. So we've got this piece cut here. We now need to do let's see here, 6mm bolt. So this platen here needs a 6mm hole. It is 130 millimeters from itself. So now I can find 0 on my Y since we use the half function on the DRO. All right, so we're zeroed out. We'll move down 10 millimeters. We'll turn her on. I'm going to be careful as we start it since we're not using a center drill. We'll now move 130 millimeters. What on earth? Numpty. Oh well, it'll be fine. I'm a nincompoop. I forgot to account for the diameter of the center finder, so we're drilling a second hole. That's gonna be a fun one to tap. So we've put it in low range. So now what we should be able to do, lube up the tap and power tap. Power tap. And reverse out. Power tap the second one. There we go. Out of the vise we go. Give it a little brush. Into the surface grinder. And we'll surface grind it. Deburr the holes. So we've got the bevels roughed in, and now we're going to go into the bridge port because I want to use an end mill to make sure that we can flatten off the guard and the transition from the guard into the blade. I'm going to try and offset it a little bit so that we can get a radius in there. I mean, I used to use a slightly radiused edge end mill. I believe they exist. You can edge with a slight radius on the very edge of it. I don't know if I really want to use a ball end mill because I think I might end up having to take away too much material. But we are going to be setting it up in the vise using some of the references that we made yesterday when we were milling to make sure that we can even this stuff all out, hog off some material and get a flat guard face. Flip it over, back in the vise we go. You take another pass on the other side. This side was low, and so we used the measurement from the other side. It didn't reach, so we got to do it again. There we go. Okay, so we're running into I don't think that we're going to be able to get a radius in there. I mean, I offset it just a little bit, thinking I'll be able to then hand sand or file in a radius, because we need a radius so we don't cause a stress rise. Real Engineering has got a great video about stress concentrations and why airplanes... Was it why airplanes fell out? I can't remember what the video was. He referenced it in his recent Why Airplanes Crash. But anyway, when you have sharp corners, you're going to create a stress concentration, and things can break. Things can break in the heat treat, things can break in use. And when this dagger is going crazy on a pineapple, we want to make sure that it's not breaking. So that's why I wanted to create a radius, but my idea as to how I was going to do it clearly hasn't worked. So I think that we are going to put a ball end mill in there, and we're going to mill it out with a ball end mill, and then we'll take the same diameter one, face across the guard again. This is going to lose us some material, but I think that we've got enough to play with. That's going to create a nice radius that we can then finish at the hand sanding stage later, but mean we don't have any stress concentrations. By the way, very important, the shards of metal that these cuts take are not nice, and they're coming straight at you. So again, another thing that we need to do before the heat treat, since our high-speed steel drills are not going to be able to cut the hardened material, is we need to drill the hole for the keyhole. We're going to be using abrasive discs to cut the rest of the keyhole, so I'm not worried about cutting that while it's cold. But what we are going to do is we are going to drill the hole. So we've found exactly where we need our hole. We have a center drill in. We will turn the mill on. Increase the speed. It's a carbide center drill. There we go. We can now put a drill in there, make a pilot hole. There's a 7mm drill bit. I'm gonna run it about 900 RPM, and I'm gonna flood it. This Damascus steel, you know, though we've normalized it, it's really tough material, so we're gonna be very cautious about not overheating the drill bit. Now it's time for the big boy. Here's the big boy. Right, so again, I'm running this a little slower than I might otherwise. We're at about 380 RPM, 16mm drill bit. If this was mild steel, it would probably want 450 or something. I'm gonna be feeding this with the knee, and again, flooding it, and being sure to interrupt my feed rate so that we can break the chip periodically. I'll achieve that by just stopping to crank every kind of quarter turn or something. I don't want a massive chip bundling up and coming around and whacking me and throwing coolant everywhere. Mountain Dew, baby! Mountain Dew! You've got to have you that Mountain Dew when you cut in the hole! Yeah! There we go, we now have a 16mm hole. I really wanted to make sure that we did that at this stage before hardening it, because once we harden that, we're not going to be able to cut that with the high-speed steel tools that we have. And it does need to be hardened up here so we get an even and consistent amount of contrast, since this here is indeed pattern that we're going to see. That good old Mountain Dew. Fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Hey! And with our 16mm hole drilled in, we now have turned it sideways. We've lined ourselves up completely above the center of our 16mm hole. We're going to center drill very lightly, and then, well, my plan is to then drill a 1/8 of an inch hole the whole way through, but of course, as I come through this top side, we're then gonna have a drill bit that's wandering as we come through the bottom, so I might have to think a little more about that. Yep, we're gonna have to flip it over, drill halfway, flip it over, drill halfway. Hopefully, referencing off our nicely milled surfaces will enable us to do that. How am I gonna reference off them though? How will I reference my nicely milled surfaces? My nicely milled surfaces need referencing. Okay, so I worked out how it is that we're gonna reference it. As you can see, I've got a couple 1, 2, 3 blocks stacked up, and we have a little cast iron angle plate. We got it nice and securely mounted. So what we'll be doing is we will be center drilling. We'll be drilling with an 1/8 inch drill. We'll be flipping it over, center drilling, drilling with an 1/8 inch drill to get that hole that goes the whole way through perfectly straight up and down. Here we go. So in we go with the smaller drill. And nice and easy, we're gonna drill a hole, flooding it with some Mountain Dew. We're gonna flip it over, do the same on the other side, and then we're going to drill another 2 holes. While it's square, while we can fixture it squarely, we're gonna drill another 2 holes for us to be able to accept another 2 pins. So this will be a 3-pinned construction, I hope, unless we snap a drill bit. Cut off way too much. I'm joking, we're fine, we're good. I'm just messing with you. Okay, so we have cut off the excess. We've got our 3 holes. They are each spaced 16mm apart, which works lovely with the 16mm hole that we have here. Ooh, this is starting to look pretty cool. Ow, there's a burr on that. Always file your burrs off. Little public service announcement from yours truly, Alec Steele. Okay, so what I now want to do, could have done this after it was hardened, but then I realized that really the only reason I wasn't doing it now was because I was rushing to get it hardened, because that was an exciting step. That's a good milestone to reach, but I realized it shouldn't be about reaching the milestone of getting it hardened and heat treated. It should first be about doing the job correctly. I will learn one day. I will get better one day at doing things right first time. For now, it's a struggle. And that struggle is indeed about to be realized in the step that we have right now. Right here, we used the ball end mill, of course, as you saw. Now, to make sure that we didn't cut into this material, we left a little lip, which is good, in the sense that we don't mess up. We have to then still hand work that lip out of there and make this transition into our flat here neat and proper. I think we're going to do that now while it's soft. What I need is a file with a radiused edge. Or how about this? Yes, this will work lovely. So, recently trying out new hand sanding things. Made myself some sanding sticks a little similar to some that I've seen Nick Wheeler use. And this one has a radius on it. So, yeah, there we go. That radius is going to allow us to work up in there. We're going to be using some PSA, pressure sensitive adhesive sandpaper. This is some 80 grit. Stick that on, fold her over, little WD-40. Hey, that's working lovelily. So what I've done here is I've taken that PSA sandpaper and I've stuck it on this. Sanding these radiuses has been extremely, extremely difficult, and hand sanding it was tough. And then I thought back to another one of Nick Wheeler's YouTube videos where he was talking about how he adjusts his bevels, and he had a block of steel with a radius on it. So I quickly ground a radius on this piece. It happens to be 01 steel, but that's irrelevant. It just happens to mean that it's already surface ground. And this means it's so much easier to get in there and work that radius and get a consistent radius from both sides. But part of this is I've been completely splashing stuff all over myself. So the glasses I've been wearing today are all covered in schmoo. Thankfully, aha, we have options. And try these ones on. Which do you prefer, these or these? Make it look very smart, maybe? Yeah. So let me know down below which ones you prefer.
Alec, you got something on your forehead.
The what?
You got dirt on your forehead?
Dirt?
Yes.
And right now we're back to just making sure that we truly do have that radius nicely sanded in there. I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I'm going to be doing this for a while. Let's thank our sponsor again. Again, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is GlassesUSA.com. They are the glasses purchasing platform that takes out the middleman, making prescription glasses unbelievably economical to purchase. Here are some of the ones that I picked out. Be sure to let me know down below which are your favorites. These are the Muse M Classics. These are the M3271s. Pretty snazzy indeed. But that Ototo Piero, I dare say, make me look rather smarto. They have over 4,000 frames that you can choose from, and the best thing is, you don't even need to leave your workshop to go and have a look at these frames and try them on. In fact, roll it. This is their virtual mirror tool. It's pretty awesome. You can try on all of their glasses. It is awesome that you can upload a photo of yourself onto their website and see all of the 4,000 lenses they have. Everything from standard prescription glasses like this, and they'll suit whatever prescription you have. Whether you got bifocals, whether you got single vision, or progressive lenses. Just like when you go shopping at the normal glasses store, despite the fact that you pay a lot less, the lenses are super high quality, and they have some amazing deals. So make sure that you go to the link down below, go check out GlassesUSA.com to see some of their incredible offers. They're so confident that you're gonna like wearing their glasses. So they'll even give you a 14-day money-back guarantee. Thank you, GlassesUSA.com, for sponsoring the video. Thank you guys for being here. It's a total pleasure, as always, to see you here. And I'm gonna see you tomorrow on the next episode.